Hi everybody, welcome to Hear Us Out. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Paul.
And this time round we're going to look at inspiring movies.
We do videos every Tuesday and Thursday, so go check them out. And also check out our library of other videos, which goes like, subscribe, share, comment, ring that notification bell, all that good stuff from YouTube people.
That was the most perfect listing of all our bag stuff ever. So do all that he just said, because he got it perfectly. We've never done it that clean.
I've been practicing in the mirror.
I would love to see that, because I'm slightly worried that I'll have to now. So why are we talking about inspiring movies? Strangely, I was inspired by a good friend of mine, a great guy. I was thinking about him the other day. He is amazing. He used to be a dude that just worked in the same place that I work, and was much like me, busy, but not exactly what you would call athletic. Now he runs marathons. And he runs marathons because he watched a movie called The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Secret Life of Walter Mitty was also a book before anybody shouts, "Oh, movie." He saw the movie and it got to him. It inspired him to do two things, actually. It inspired him to find more inspiring movies. He then was like, I now watched Hector in Search for Happiness. Oh, yeah. And he found he found a genre of movies that he liked out of it, which was kind of cute. But also he was like, okay, I'm going to start running. There he did. Then he was going to run some more. Then he's like, I'm going to do a half marathon. And I think I'm going to do a marathon. And now he just goes and he runs marathons and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And it's great. He's an inspirational character in many ways himself. He's a really, really impressive guy. But it was awesome to see a film inspire somebody like that.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that experience?
Yes, Patrick, I have. How lucky for us.
Yes, that's good. Thank God this could have been a short video.
We didn't discuss this before. No, we did. Patch Adams.
Patch Adams, okay.
I'm going to jump right in there. Patch Adams, which is a Robin Williams film. It's based on a true story as well, about a doctor who essentially decides to treat. He's a med student who is trying to become a doctor, but treats people using comedy and laughter kind of thing. And it's a very inspiring kind of story of kind of going against the institutional norm of that current time of medical practice, and kind of deciding to treat, instead of just treating symptoms and the disease, treating people.
Yeah, I do love that movie for that message, and Robin Williams was just the perfect guy for it. Yeah, he brought a lot of heart to that. So yeah, I can see that there's a real don't just go with conventional wisdom, but also be human. Always treat people like people. Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great pick.
Yeah, it was a good one. When I watched it, it was just one of those movies that you're just like, it's just a happiness story. There's no real bad guy.
No, there's some cynicism here and there at worst, I guess. But it's great. So I take it by your silence, you're thinking about the movie.
Yeah.
That's the problem with inspirational movies. You can become wistful when thinking back about them. I think for me, I'm not going to get wistful, because the one I would pick, the film that inspired me, is not quite so obviously positive, I guess.
Okay.
I'm not going to end up picking Alien or something, don't worry. Yeah, I wanted to go and kill xenomorphs. No, it's 12 Angry Men. 12 Angry Men it's everything about storytelling to me in a lot of ways. So as far as what we're even doing right now, I think 12 Angry Men is an inspiration. It was one of the things that made me look at movies in a different way. But the story that it told resonated with me massively, because it's about one person not standing up for, what they want to achieve, not standing up to try and make their business win or get their agenda. It was just purely out of the idea of let's be fair and let's be just. And the idea of fair and just and that honest kind of, I don't know. The amount of times that the words I don't know are said, I should actually count someday. It gets that message across that, we don't know, but we have to work together and we have to be fair. 12 Angry Men, for anybody who actually hasn't seen it, I should have explained, it's about a jury of someone's so-called peers at the time, and everybody in the room thinks the guy's guilty except for one. And that one guy, spoiler alert, you've had your spoiler warning, because go and see it, but he does turn the rest of the room around to a not guilty verdict.
Yeah, but it's not one of those things where it's like they believe that he's not guilty. It's more the reasonable doubt element to the film, which is also a very nice thing, because it's like it's not just about proving the fact that the person on trial is not guilty. It's the fact is that we need to do it without a reasonable of a doubt.
Yeah.
And this person has a bit of doubt, and he essentially is able to convince the rest of the jury, who were very nonchalant about their guilty plea, kind of thing. It was just like, you can't just come in here and just be like, yeah, guilty.
They have a laundry list of bad reasons for why they've chosen their guilty verdict. So it's about that idea of justice being blind. And for me, the inspirational part isn't, the justice system. It's actually a real story of humanity and society. And I absolutely love it. But to not get caught up in just our own stuff, we pulled up some honourable mentions. And I think I'm going to throw in the very first one, because I know a lot of people, I know somebody personally who will watch this movie because it inspires them to not feel down. It's Rocky.
No.
If you watch Rocky, it is, the whole film, start to finish, is one of those upward creeping stories. There's montages of training, get up and do it, go out there, you can do it, Rock.
It's the eye of the tiger.
Eye of the tiger, the underdog. You can go and be the champ, and as it turns out, he isn't the champ at the end of the movie, but he tried. So it's a story of the underdog trying, and I can see why that's uplifting for so many people.
Yeah, like it's a very kind of, motivational film in the fact that, he is a down, out of luck person.
Yeah.
He aspires to this thing. Like, everybody's just like, no, you're not going to get it done. And then he doesn't get it done, but he does what nobody's expecting him to do, kind of stuff, and it's a fantastic underdog movie.
And he's that sweet everyman that everybody wants to identify with, because deep down you kind of want to be sweet, because everybody knows they're just the everybody. None of us are that special, really. Sorry, kids. But yeah, it's not something that I will throw on to be like, I want to feel better, but I can definitely see why people would.
Yeah.
So what else? What else have you got to pull from the list?
I'm going to pull Shank Redemption. It's very inspiring movie. It's very about humanity in certain ways, which is very much about humanity in the places that we wouldn't think that it's there, kind of thing. Like Shank Redemption. If you've never seen the film, what are you doing? Like, go watch that film. It's got Morgan Freeman. It's got a whole host of cast that you would not expect as main cast members. I off the top of my head, I can't name all of them.
It's incredible.
It's an incredible humanity.
Shawshank is one of those films that you don't really have to argue with people, because just about everybody loves it, and everybody recognizes that it's good, because it is about the triumph of the human spirit over adversity. Andy Dufresne doesn't give up. It's a real perseverance story on top of everything else. Yeah,
and it's one of those stories that it's not about what happens in the end. It's the throughout point, and the fact that his spirit is like it's lucky that at the end it happens in a certain way, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's the fact is that even in prison, it's about him being imprisoned.
Everybody's seen that. That's the one film on this list we don't have to explain. Hopefully.
Yeah, okay. If we're not going to do, like him escaping is not the biggest moment and kind of thing. It's more the kind of metaphorical kind of like freeing of the spirit kind of thing.
Yep.
But it's more the fact is in a place where your spirit should be broken consistently. The fact is that he is always walking around as if he has a blanket that protects him, and that he's just walking in the park kind of thing. It
is an incredible, and there are so many. If you watch it again, the metaphors are strewn through the film for the human spirit. Everything from birds to other people, even just situationally. It's a good pull. I think it for a lot of people is an uplifting story at different points for different reasons. So it hits the inspirational chart on a few levels, I think. Which is why I'm going to pivot to something. I'm choosing between one of two, but I kind of want to lighten the mood. So I'm going to go with Jerry Maguire. Because Jerry Maguire, I find it very funny that it is an inspirational movie. Because they're, other than the famous Show Me the Money. Show me the money! There we go. Jerry Maguire, a lot of people are like, oh, now I want to be like him. I want to write my mission statement. I want to go out and I want to do good. I'm going to give up my corporate gig. Jerry Maguire, if you watch it, what he really did was say, I'm going to give up this corporate life. Oh, I want to do it real style. And then started up a corporate life that was just him at the head of the corporation a little bit more than before. So there's a small amount of irony I find in the fact that people are like, oh, Jerry Maguire, inspirational. It is if you want to go from being in business to being better and running your own business.
Yeah.
But no, I do get the idea of I don't want to be under the foot of the corporate overlords anymore. And I enjoyed the film very, very much for that.
Yeah, I think it's about taking control.
Yeah.
Obviously, his control is essentially running his own business rather than being run
exactly
into the ground.
So that was my little semi-dig at Jerry Maguire's underlying tone being great and actual outer shell being, well, it's all capitalism in the end, isn't it? Show me the money. Go on you go.
I guess one of the other picks that I'm going to choose from, I'm going to choose Good Will Hunting.
Good call.
You know, it's an inspiring movie from a different perspective of essentially a soul being lost, which is actually another Robin Williams film that I also should bring up. But yeah, Good Will Hunting is about it's essentially just lost people kind of thing, and you know, everybody trying to find their way and path and stuff, and having kind of that tragic story in as their background kind of thing, and having people around you that you don't expect to be the ones going like, you know, I'm actually trying to help. Like, you know, like Ben Affleck's character saying the best part of my day is the little moments in which I think that you're not going to answer the door is a fantastic piece. Because it means that he's essentially found his way and left the mundaneness of his life kind of thing. Robin Williams' character is a very powerful lost soul as well. He was lost and found his way kind of thing.
He'd experienced loss with the loss of his wife.
Yeah.
And again, many drivers. Good Will Hunting is one of my favourite films of all time. So again, I'll be biased, but I agree with you. It's about recognising who you are as much as finding who you are and accepting who you are, because Will Hunting, the main character, has to accept the gifts that he has. He has to accept the pressure or what other people feel about those things. There's a level of understanding self, a realisation that I genuinely find very inspiring. I think I saw it at the perfect age. Because I'm pretty much, me and Matt Damon are like the same age, I think. It hit me at the time on a few levels, and it never really stopped. Even the side characters, you're right. Even Minnie Driver talking about loss. She lost her father, and she's like, "Do you not think I would give up give up everything I have to have one more day with him?" Everybody in that movie has some level, except for maybe one side character.
See, I think, the other professor, we're getting into a Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, but why not? Because
the professor who like takes hunting on as a project kind of thing, he's lost in another way.
Yeah, he won the Fields Medal for maths, but
is always driving towards that prize again, but is never able to capture it kind of thing, and is living precariously through another person kind of thing, which is a sense of loss, and the fact that, you know, you can't come to terms with the achievements that you've gained and not be able to maybe achieve them again in another way, but knowing the fact that you've achieved them in the first place is a story in itself kind of thing, and should be taken on. But there's plenty of characters. The three lads who hang around with Hunting as his best mates kind of thing are very kind of like, they're the only ones that I feel are not. They're the only ones I feel that are not lost in certain respects, as in they've accepted their roles in which the scenario in which they live kind of thing, but they look upon Hunting saying like, you know, you are still, even though you are kind of one of us kind of thing, you're still a lost soul.
Oh, and even they've got the nuance of that, the brotherhood, the fraternity, the family that they create. Casey Affleck's a backseat guy until he gets promoted to the front seat. There's a hint at his understanding or acceptance of his life, but also that wanting to be accepted and wanting to be one of the bigger kids in the gang. It's an awesome film in many ways. I'm surprised that we ended up talking about it as an inspirational film and almost did a mini episode on it. I think we should have probably covered Good Will Hunting separately, but it's definitely worth a pick for that.
Oh no, it's a very inspiring movie. So,
well, to move us on, because we're going to have to wrap up in a second, I think Erin Brockovich is, we have a long list and we're now just picking what we have time to put in. I think Erin Brockovich is worth mentioning because Erin Brockovich is the story of a woman who, against all odds, through dogged determination, outed a gigantic corporation for poisoning the groundwater and making lots and lots of people sick, and ultimately people dying. There are undertones and overtones of sexism and all sorts of classism that are represented through this based on a real life story. It inspires people to think, well, one person can make a difference. One person can make a difference because they believe and they try and they work. There's no sense of, she didn't wish this into existence. This film is about the determination and effort and sacrifice that you have to make this all happen. Little side note, the side characters in it, Albert Finney, Aaron Eckhart, everybody who appears in this, masterful performances from every single one of them. Yeah. Great movie that helps sell that, the emotion that's needed there to inspire people. Because what she's giving up and the people she's battling against and the people she's battling with on her side help you feel that sense of the world's a big, big place, but if you believe, you'll beat the bad guy, but you'll find good people to support you along the way. And that's the belief in yourself that story can inspire. Lots of people have said it has inspired them to take up their own challenge, to take up their own cause, and not be deterred and push on through. Obviously, it's brilliant that it deals with sexism so long ago, since obviously sexism isn't a problem anymore. That just went away apparently, so everything's great now. So yeah, like it's a film that could be made today easily. Yeah, on how corporations treat the world and how we all treat each other. So
yeah,
maybe watch it and let's all learn that things should change, because that film's actually getting older now.
Yeah,
and the rest of us don't seem to be growing up. So what else? What do you want to throw in as maybe a last one?
I have Pursuit of Happiness, which I know is not a film, but I can quickly go through that.
No, please do.
Pursuit of Happiness. It's a Will Smith film. It's very good. Which goes. It's just one of those. It's one of those other determination, willpower kind of stories about a person who's just down on the luck, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. But it's a consistent drive towards the dream of a better life, the pursuit of happiness kind of thing, where their their determination and trials by fire kind of thing push them even further into getting to their place. And I like it for the fact that it's literally just about constantly working towards one goal, which is a simple goal as well. The guy only wants a job.
Wow.
It's a specific job, but he sees one person and the guy is just like, yeah, it's great, and he's just like, that's what I want to do.
Wow.
And it's just driving towards that, and every trial and tribulation that he goes through is a very powerful one, and it just gets worse in a while, and then obviously it's a kind of a good.
This is a good ending.
Yeah.
Oh well, it's a film I haven't seen. I've often intended to, but I think by the sounds of that, I think I have to get round to it. There is one that I want to add in just before we close really, really quickly, because there will be some people going, why didn't you mention this? Vita Bella, Life is Beautiful. Oscar-winning film about maybe the most depressing thing in all of this list. It's about a guy in a concentration camp with his kid, and he uses comedy and being a clown to try and make it seem like it's all a big game and a big joke. And he's like, oh, look at the funny people marching, and this is what they're doing. The way it inspires people, because it's obviously harrowing, so why would it be inspirational? It's the not just that perseverance, because it is a film above all about adversity and standing up to adversity or surviving through it, but it's that perspective, that kind of, if I can control the perspective a little bit for someone else. So for everybody, because I think everybody's got good days and bad days. Sometimes if you can actually just force a little bit of perspective, it doesn't necessarily get you out of the bad place, but it helps you deal with it for a little bit longer. And it's an incredibly inspirational film on that front. It doesn't have a great ending. I really wish I hadn't left it till last. Is there anything? Oh yeah, Rush. Niki Lauda does really well. Yeah, Rush always could have mentioned. Car film. It's brilliant. Watch it too. So happy ending, Paul?
Yeah, no, because inspirational movies is kind of like the reason that a lot of people get into the movie entertainment kind of industry. Not even just to make them, but just films and stories are essentially the human way of escaping and seeing the light in our everyday kind of, I guess, monotony, which goes. But these films are specifically outspoken in the world of inspiration because, like, I guess it's people who've gotten to the place of which we all want to get to.
Yeah.
But I guess the other thing that I like, I guess in the happiness kind of thing that I'd like to say is, these movies are inspirational, stories are always inspirational, kind of thing. But it's always the lesson in which we learn from these movies, and it's always one of those things that it's just like, and we see a lot of people saying this and stuff. Just be nice to each other, you know, kind of thing. If you have a goal, if your friend has a goal, kind of thing, and you should even just give them a pat on the back and just go, look, fuck, go for it. Yeah, kind of thing.
Maybe if they have a YouTube channel, you could subscribe.
Oh, but yeah, it's that kind of thing. We wanted to start up a YouTube channel. We put in the efforts and stuff like that, and now we're doing it every week.
Yeah. So I think films can make a difference. And to circle back to where we started, to my friend who was sitting there, watched Walter Mitty, and then said, tomorrow I'm going for a run, and is now marathon man, the good kind, not the Dustin Hoffman kind. I want to say, find the film that changes your life and be the thing that changes somebody else's. So try and inspire everybody else. God knows we're only going to inspire you to click like, subscribe, share, and hopefully maybe even make your own YouTube channel.
And hopefully watch, some movies that you might not have thought of to watch, stories that you might not have thought that you'd like.
Yeah. So let us know what inspiring movie you would have put on this list and why. And I've been Patrick.
And I've been Paul.
And we're getting out of here like ninjas. Old men being children.
Speak for yourself. I am a child.
Middle-aged men and old men being children. You're now middle-aged.
Oh, Christ.
I know.